Who was the most unexpected threat to your child? My father died years ago, but my son said he came to his school and played with him for hours. He told me they played Ludo and that Grandpa still cheats. I was shocked and called the school immediately. They assured me no one had visited him. I asked my son again. He said Grandpa was wearing his old jacket, the one with the elbow patch, and that he smelled like mint. I told my husband about it, but he said maybe our son was just messing around. The next day, I visited my son's school and met his teacher, Mary. She again assured me no visitors had entered the school that day or any time that week. I told myself maybe he was making things up, but that jacket detail stuck with me. A few evenings later, I was in the kitchen when my son came in and said he saw Bruno outside the house. Bruno died when my son was 3. I told him maybe it was another dog, but he didn't even think about it, just said no, it was Bruno, and pointed toward the mailbox. I was confused and didn't know what to tell him. Some days later, while flipping through TV channels, he asked why I left my sister at the lake. It freaked me out so bad I forgot what I was doing. My sister lives in another state and hasn't visited or even called in years, and there's no way he could have known anything about her. Even my husband doesn't know about that incident. I asked him who told him that. He just kept watching the screen and said, "Your friend told me. She's going to visit you soon." Then the doorbell rang. I was still trying to process what my son had just said when I opened it and saw his teacher standing outside. I let her in and made some tea, still trying to figure out what this was all about. She asked if my son was doing okay, said she just wanted to check in, and then casually added, "I hope he asked about Nina." I nearly dropped the cup. There was no way she could have known my sister's name. That's when she told me her full name, Mary Green. I hadn't heard that name in years, but the moment she said it, everything came back. We were in 5th grade. She had trouble remembering things. She kept forgetting names and instructions, even which school bus to get on. One day, she walked into the wrong class and sat down like it was normal. The whole class burst out laughing. I said, "Next time, bring a map, or maybe get a GPS installed so you stop getting lost." Someone from the back added, "She probably ends up in random houses too," calls the guy there dad, and another voice finished it with, "This one probably calls every other woman mom." At the mall, her eyes went wet. She stood up and ran out of the room as the class laughed louder than before. After that, kids started teasing her on purpose, pointing her to the wrong hallways, sending her the wrong way between classes, just to see and laugh at her. She always did. She left the school a few weeks later and never came back. I knew I'd started it. I could have stepped in, but I didn't. As time passed, we all forgot about her. As she saw my expression change, she smiled and said, "Now you'll never forget this." She made my son say every word, fed him those memories, all in the name of a social experiment. She used him to get back at me. My eyes were wet with guilt and relief. I tried to apologize, but she just shook her head and said, "After all these years, apologies don't matter." She stood up and walked out, leaving the door open behind her.